which is maryclaireberreen.co.uk. Good luck spelling that. It's actually Marie hyphen Claire with an I and an E. Berreen, BERREEN.co.uk.
Okay.
That's me, but if you search Berreen, BERREEN, you can find me. And on the site you can listen and you can watch a few videos.
And buy.
And if
you can buy as well.
If you like the music, you can buy it too.
Yeah.
Or you can torrent it.
Yeah.
For free.
That's illegal download.
Dave's got very quiet in the corner. What are your influences then?
Wow, okay. Broad is what I'd say. Grew up listening to lots of classical music and jazz, which my dad played and I hated at the time, but I think it definitely influenced my music and the way that I sing. And then in my sort of late teens, for quite a while, unfortunately, I got pulled into the curse that is dance music, but luckily that didn't last very long. I think people hear airy fairy voices and want to put it on dance beats. It's very, very odd. But people like Eddie Reader and Tori Amos and Sarah McLachlan and female singers who... Lisa Hannigan, I love Lisa Hannigan at the moment. She's one of my favourites, and Meg Hutchinson. And but I do also listen to, you know, lots of band stuff as well, loud music and all kinds of different genres, really. So lots of people. Nick Drake, again, just things like when you learn classically, it's all about singing something very precisely and it's defined for you exactly how you're going to sing it. So I got used to singing things in a perfect way, and I love the fact that with your own stuff you can close vowels and sit on an N, which is very Nick Drake. I do quite like that. It makes it easy to sing.
What are you guys? What are your influences?
Oh my God.
Here we go.
You go first, Dan. I'll try and get your list together.
Yeah, all right. Well, very, very broad, but I come from a completely different background musically from Mary Claire, because I'm more into the rock side of things, and I used to play a lot of rock and prog rock and that sort of thing, and to come into this band and play at these kind of dynamic levels has been the biggest education for me so far that I've ever had in my drumming. It's really calmed me down and opened my ears to a whole new genre of music, really. I've been introduced to some of the artists that Mary Claire just mentioned, and it's like discovering music all over again.
It's exactly the same for me since August since we've been doing this.
It's really nice.
It's funny what happens when you strip things back. I think that's the thing. I think for all of us actually, playing loud something that I think a lot of people do, but actually putting dynamics in and showing a bit of restraint it's much harder. But it's when you can do it.
I think when we first started doing this band, because Dan came from a rock drumming point of view, I played rock guitar, and the bass player also come from a rock background as well. I think when we first started, it was too loud. It took us a couple of gigs and quite a few rehearsals to go.
And a lot of punching.
And just sitting it back and actually letting basically the music's about the voice really. So just let the voice do the talking as it is, and just kind of calm the music down behind it. And as soon as we started doing that, people started going, they're quite good actually, aren't they?
I think the songs, a lot of the songs on the album, I mean, Stephen and I wrote them all. Some of them I wrote on my own, and I think what I loved as well was I wanted to see how I wrote on my own. I'd often written with other people, and you're so influenced. And Stephen and I have been writing together for a long time now. About, I don't know, getting on 15 years it's got to be now. We're very old. And but when we write together, it was completely different to anything that we'd ever done with anyone else. So Honey Pie that we've done tonight, that was one that we wrote together. But the others, it's been lovely. I learned enough guitar so that I could write on my own. And naturally, because I don't play guitar very well, all the songs were written to be very quiet. So they've had to kind of come down to my volume level. But
although we have noticed you do pick it up a little bit.
Definitely.
Do you have to keep quiet them down?
It's a whip.
Yeah.
So
I've got a
yeah.
whip and
And a
occasionally-
stick with a nail on the end of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Prods us
And a
if we get
cricket
too
bat.
loud. Yeah.
which I do have to punish them occasionally just to keep them in it if they forget.
Yeah.
It's for their own good,
Yeah.
to be fair. So.
Yeah, they were trying to get it alive. Yeah. What about the album then? How long did it take to put that together?
Well, we started recording the songs a while ago. All in all, it seemed to take about a year. However, we spent months and months on it and then decided to start again because we then gigged it.
Yeah.
And it sounded different live, and a lot of people were saying that the live
Yeah.
sound is actually quite different to the recorded sound.
Yeah.
And we wanted to try and get it as live sounding as we could, really. So all the vocals, when we recorded them, eventually I was only allowed to do 2 takes,
Yeah.
and then we just went with it because you can overdo these
Yeah.
things. So there are imperfections, and it's quite deliberate. It was to make it.
Also, we kind of learnt the songs by
Yeah.
gigging them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we wrote the songs and
Yeah.
then we gigged them and we learnt them and we learnt to play them better. So
Yeah.
we recorded. We spent 7 or 8 months making an album, and then October last year we just went, let's start again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause- and
And
when
then,
you've got
then we did the whole thing in 3 months.
yeah, and you've got additional musicians. Some of the songs, the journey, for example, on the album, there's a lot of strings going on.
Yeah.
A lot of the songs, I'd heard orchestration, and we'd written that in.
Yeah.
You know, using keyboards, we played it in, and then we got our keyboard player Glenn, who's amazing and really creative. So, again, once you bring new musicians in, they have their own
Yeah.
idea for how that goes. So, but in the end, it took us a couple of months, really,
3
didn't
months
it?
it was,
About 3
yeah,
months.
from-
Yeah.
And the album's called Box and a Ribbon,
Right.
which is a line, funnily enough, from the next song we're going to do. Look at
Nice
that.
segue.
Really
Nice.
good, wasn't it? It's lovely to have an album now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something that shows all the...
It's kind of really want to, though it sounds weird, but I just want to get going on another one now.
Yeah. We're raring to go.
Yeah, I think it kind of. I think we're all having a bit of a creative time. You know,
Yeah.
you kind of have these
Yeah.
points where you just become creative.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of.
So how many tracks you got ready for the next album then?
We've already got about 6.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And the lovely thing with the album, when we started putting the album together, we didn't have many songs. So when we gigged,
Yeah.
you know, if we were asked to do more than 30 minutes, we'd panic and
Yeah.
just have to do them slightly more slow and talk more. But by the time we finished the album, I just started writing, didn't I really? I just kept writing songs and going into rehearsals
Yeah.
and going, by the way, here's another one, or
Yeah.
this one's a bit bluesy. And that was nice as well, because I quite deliberately wrote different types of songs as well to have more diversity on the album.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So where did it make the album then? Where did it
Well,
produce?
It kind of all over the place, really.
Yeah.
We started off. Basically, we made it ourselves.
Yeah.
But we went away to a chapel and did some stuff there and did some
Yeah.
Mary Claire's vocals down in, where was it?
Monmouth.
Monmouth. Yeah.
You-
Down there, we hired a chapel down there for a week and just took all our equipment in and
Really?
went and did
We,
that.
we
Yeah.
looked for somewhere to go for a few days to go
Yeah.
away and record, and I went on the internet short notice
Yeah.
and found a converted chapel and said,
Yeah.
what's the chances of finding a converted chapel at short notice to record vocals in? And it was so one of the songs, which we'll do last actually
Yeah.
today, Need Me, on the album, you know, it's lovely because that was
It's got the natural
got a lot of
chapel
nat-
reverb in it, which
Whoa.
is lovely.
Yeah.
which was really special actually.
Yeah.
But then we came home and recorded them at home. We've
Yeah.
got our own kind of makeup, and we're really pleased actually with how it turned
Kind of a
out.
little studio at home. So. But yeah, and it's turned out really nicely. We're quite impressed with ourselves.
Well, each week we have an album of the week, and next week we'll make it our album of the week.
Oh,
So
that'd be
3 or 4
lovely.
tracks on it.
That'd be lovely.
Right, ready for that song you were talking
Yeah,
about?
so this is we're going to cheer right up now. This is a
Is
song
it?
called Turn My World Around.
What's it about then?
It's a happy one. It's about being in love,
Yeah.
really.
Okay.
Happy one.
Well, is it about being in love?